Hey guys, I'm gonna do, this reading is gonna be general, but for kind of like a Venus in Scorpio reading. Um, it probably will hit a little bit more for Tauruses, maybe Libras, maybe even Scorpios, probably mostly Tauruses. Because probably mostly Taurus and Libra, because Venus rules Taurus and Libra. It obviously could influence, everybody's going to feel these energies, but probably mostly, like I said, Taurus, Libra, and maybe Scorpio. I'd like to actually do one on all the signs' perspectives, but I just don't have time to do that. I may do another one of these on when Venus goes retrograde in Scorpio, but we'll play that out and see. But anyways, this is a general reading, so some, none, all of it may apply it to your life as necessary. If I read it one way and it's a different way in your life, apply it to that. If I read it, it's you and it's another person, apply it to that. Like, we all know what to do with this, so do it as it, do what you need to do with it. You know what to do. Don't make it fit if it doesn't fit. Also, what day is it? October 6th, I believe, is a Saturday, and there will be a psychic fair that I'll be at. So if any of you guys want to come get a reading with me or meet me or whatever, let me know. Hit me up in my email, which is in the description box below, or you can comment or whatever, and I'll give you the information. I just figured I'd let you guys know, and also maybe if you wanted to know ahead of time in case you did want to, because it did fill up fast last month. I will be there for November and December and probably January too. So just an FYI, letting you guys know. Like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the bell. I put out different types of videos, so if you want to be notified of them, absolutely hit the bell. But like and subscribe. Comment. I love hearing you guys' thoughts, and if it resonates and all that. If it doesn't resonate, you don't really have to comment that, but whatever, if that's what you choose to do. Yeah, so I'm gonna go forward. So Venus is in Scorpio. It will eventually go retrograde and go back to Libra for a little while, which, obviously the energy then will get even more intense. And like I said, Venus rules Taurus and Libra. Venus is all about love and partnerships and harmony and beauty and what we value. Abundance. Scorpio is very much about the hidden, the subconscious, the underworld, secrets, but yet truth at the same time. Intensity. Venus is about intensity as well, but just in a polar way. Taurus and Scorpio are opposite signs, so they're both equally, they're both fixed signs, they're both very intense signs. Although Scorpios are a water sign, they have also a fire type energy to them. They're very much about the mystery and seduction. feelings, yes, because like the murky waters run deep type thing, but in a different way, you know, and kind of so deep and so much, just in such an intense way. So it's very interesting having those two energies together that are very, in some ways, opposite, but very similar. I know Mars a lot of times is seen as a masculine vibe too, but I'm almost positive, I can't remember exactly, but I think Scorpio actually is a receptive, more feminine, receptive sign. But the energies that I feel from it is almost more like, as I described that, give me more of that vibe of the feminine and the masculine. Like love meets seduction, you know? And because of that, you know, when you've got the two most intense signs of the zodiac, planets, even, whatever, I mean, you know, that's a lot of intensity that is coming here, actually, but I think it will become even more so when Venus goes retrograde. You'll have probably an increase of, you know, obsession, jealousy, possessiveness, possibly, just truths in what you want really coming to life. And I get really in this reading a lot that whoever is drawn to this video or resonates with this video is very much about seeing a truth, especially in something in matters of the heart or love, but it could apply anywhere, and releasing to start over. So you almost get that vibe, you know, of where Venus is picking up those traits from Scorpio of truth and of seeing and of releasing. Almost like Venus as her own goddess is being asked to look and sit in the murky darkness and not judge it or judge herself or even shut down during it, but to embrace it and what it shows. Because even Venus, as loving, you know, as she is, has her other sides as well. It's just the main energy that is shown. It's, I mean, think about it. This is very a polar type energy. You have almost that masculine vibe and that feminine vibe, and light and dark and love, yet seduction, and the higher frequency with the lower frequency, the more spiritual vibration with the more grounded 3D egoic vibration. And I'm not saying Scorpios are not spiritual in any way. They're actually very spiritual, even if a lot of them don't know it in the way they go about doing things. A lot of them, as they're not evolved, are doing things and they don't understand why they're doing it. But it's very much that energy in the way that it feels to me is like my soul meeting yours. You know, again, you have like two of the most intense signs. So especially as lovers or even in intimacy purposes, the reason they are, you know, some of the more intense lovers is because I'm gonna, you know, speak for the way I feel and, you know, what I know of myself and all of that, and it's whatever. I want to feel so deep into that, like I want to feel, I want to feel somebody's soul. You know, I want my soul and your soul to just, I don't know, like on some other level, just they're intertwining too, not just a physical bloop, whatever. Like, it's that soul intertwining feeling, and you have to watch where you're doing that, because, you know, you don't always want your soul intertwining with certain people and creating those type of bonds or cords. But it's that intensity, you know, and once too, that sometimes scare people or make people like, no, especially when they don't even know of it within themselves. And, you know, you might even have this vibe of like the goddess Venus being like, you know, she's like all like beauty and loving and, you know, but those dark sides coming out even in her, you know, experiencing things that she didn't think was in her or that hid from it, such as Scorpio a lot of times is I don't want to say represented, but if I had to pick a sign, a zodiac sign that was able to endure or even like pain the most, it would be Scorpio. And I know a lot of them will be like, no, I don't like pain. Some of them are honest about it. They're like, yeah, I like pain. Or they like, you know, the drama of it or the chaos of it or whatever. They're able to utilize it better because of that. I still think it blocks some of them, especially as they're not as evolved, because they don't fully know they have that barrier, and that's why, you know, they have even more of that barrier in that shell, like a scorpion does, because they do want to protect themselves and what they portray, but yet they do kind of like pain, but they need to block themselves off from it. They are still a water sign at the end of the day. They are still like one of your deepest emotional signs. But it's not just Scorpios that like, you know, that pain. You know, it's even all over in this reading that you got to get real with yourself at some point about realizing, like, are you keeping yourself in a painful state? Are you going after painful experiences? And if you are, why? Is it that it pushes you to try to heal something or do something? Or does part of you like it, but like you're telling yourself you don't? Because that's where you're going to be not in alignment and it's causing conflict within you. You may not like pain, but may seek pain in order to grow. Because if not, you know, you might either resist it or become stagnant or whatever. And also it's just that real primal nature part of yourself too. Pain in a lot of ways reminds you that you're alive. You know, there's the two vibrations that do are the ones that are either like really euphoric, which I would associate more to Venus, and then like really painful, which I would associate to Scorpio. But that's also a perception thing. You know, you might ask a Scorpio that and the other one might seem like more uncomfortable, and you know what I mean? What we would see as more painful might be more euphoric to them. Like, oh, that makes them feel better. It's all about perception. But either way, you've got this polar thing in the blending of these energies. And I have to say, it's kind of nice, you know, the way it feels. Of course, this isn't the way it would always feel like with a person, because we have so many other things in our charts. We have blocks and all of that. So I can feel just the pure energy in itself. But this is very much a good energy to utilize, because it really could show us things that are blocking us. So I'll kind of get into the reading a little bit, and as I have little side notes or whatever to say, I'll say it. I don't know if I'm going to show all the cards, though, because I have a lot of cards, so this is mostly just going to be talking and what it's showing for me. But this is very much a time about trying to be triumphant in something. Like, to feel victorious, to feel good again. And I think what's holding you up is some truth that you're not seeing. And your lack of feeling good or success is very much wrapped in that lack of truth. I guess I'll just show you. But so you have like the Six of Wands and the Ace of Swords. These are both about, I mean, this could be about truth too, or realization, but it's also about victory. And she's got her crown on. And if you see, like, her crown is very much wrapped into this sword, which is about, you know, a truth, a realization. Because what's crossing is the moon and the Queen of Pentacles. So there is obviously cycles going on here. The subconscious, again, you have very much, I mean, this isn't a Scorpio sign, but the moon is about the subconscious, the emotion, and that's what Scorpio is about too. So you have here again, what is this energy could really bring you to a good place if you allow it to a very victorious and an enlightened place, if you allow these two energies. Because this is very much like a Venus Taurus vibe. And this, even though it's not a Scorpio card, very much has that same energy. But it's also about whatever this truth is, and whatever is making you not feel as confident or successful or strong, powerful, confident, like triumphant, is about you not knowing who you are or not seeing something within you. Some type of pattern or cycle or something that is holding you back. Because next to those cards, you have the Chariot, the Nine of Swords, and the Two of Pentacles. I mean, this is just all about, like, this Chariot is not really going anywhere. I mean, this is all about, like, just sitting there and not moving forward and being all up in your head and being anxious and constantly, like, weighing things out and going back and forth and probably even looking too much at the past. But really just trying to weigh out what to do, or creating balance to, like, move. Like, I don't know if you're wanting to move and you can't, or if you're just staying put, because you think you need to. Like, what would happen if I moved on? Like, maybe you won't then be successful? I don't know. It's probably different for both of you because this is general, or they're probably both is general. But in the more distant past, or the foundation of this reading, you have the King of Pentacles, you have the Eight of Pentacles, and you have the Nine of Pentacles. Oh, it's 8, 9, 9 of Pentacles. And you have the Magician, which is really weird, I just noticed, because you have a lot of, like, ending of cycles cards here, which that's what Scorpio is all about. Transformation, ending of cycles, beginning of new ones. Because you've got a lot. Like, you've got the 8, 9, and 10 of Swords, 8, 9, and 10 of Cups, 8, 9, 10 of... Right? Don't you have the Pentacles somewhere? I'm not sure if you do. I thought I had seen the 10 of Pentacles, but it's like, I feel the vibe too. What would be the other thing? Wands. Which speaking of which, I don't really have a whole lot of wands up here. But anyways, so I think for some of you, I mean, this King of Pentacles could be you too. And you just now working on yourself. But I just get this vibe that a lot of whoever I'm resonating with, that your counterpart or your person kind of left to go do their own thing, to like work on themselves, work on their life, do their own independence, like maybe even figure out who they are, but to basically like live their own life, take their own actions, put, you know, just, you could even be putting on a show during it. Maybe it was stupid, but that doesn't matter. Like, mostly they went on their own to start their own venture and work on themselves. Whatever they wanted to do for whatever reason, they went. And I think it really affected you. And you probably got stuck for a while. Like in your recent past, you have the 10 of Swords and you have the 7 of Cups, which is ending a cycle, a mental cycle, you know, that of either being stabbed in the back or stabbing yourself in the back, but it was of really, if you look at it, it was really of your own creation, your own illusion. But creation, like this guy is creating. He's creating this. He's creating things based off his own feelings and perceptions. Which, not to say it's wrong, but what he's drawing looks nothing like these cups. So, it's like, did you see things properly? whether it was during this situation or relationship, or even more so after. What's crowning the situation is you have the Nine of Pentacles with the Three of Swords, and then the Knight of Swords and the Page of Pentacles. So it's like it really hurt you while you were sitting here waiting or doing whatever you were doing, waiting on this person to come find you in your path, while they're over here just all skip and dandy and happy, and you're in this darkness. Like, this is a perception thing. This is what's in your mind, whoever this is. Like, come save me, for goodness sake. And the Knight of Pentacles is somebody that, like, you know, they're the slowest moving knight in the deck. Yes, they make sure whatever they're doing is done correctly, but it's like, I'm dead by the time you get here. And just that whole time of waiting, it's like, not only did them going and doing their thing, like, how dare they hurt you, but so did the waiting all this time hurt you. Which, that's not even to say they come. Like, that's what's in your mind. Like, you're waiting on them to come. They're taking a long time. Their sweet little time in their wonderful fairyland of happiness and whatever. And you're just like, ugh, darkness. And it's about seeing, you know, the truth of that and stopping that and going to work on yourself and realizing that even while you've been starting to put yourself together, like, you missed some things. Like, this guy put himself together and he's got little parts, you know, all over, like he's missing some parts. But either way, you're starting to realize, or this energy is helping you to start to realize your perception in things. Like, what am I doing? What do I really want? You know, Venus is all about value and what I want. What do I really want? Taurus or Scorpio, truth, the hidden, the unseen. What do I really want? And you're having to dig deep to figure that out, or something is happening to make you figure that out. What do I really want? Why am I keeping myself here? Is this what I want? And if it is, then owning that. So that at least while you're sitting here in this state, you can make it a little bit lighter, because you're like, well, no, I like this pain. At least own it, instead of having a victim mentality about it. What is that serving? It's like Venus herself being like, no, nothing against her. I'm not saying it like that. We are taking on these energies. So having to get real. Like, get real. Why give your power away? This is your perception of this other person, situation, whatever, and this is yours. Why would you allow that? I mean, you have no control over what they're doing. I'm not saying that part. But if this is your perception, this is what's in your thoughts, what part of this is serving you? You have to ask yourself that, because something about it is serving you. What is it? And do you want to keep it? or do you want to change it? Because then you're going to have to work on changing your perception, which is this Knight of Wands, coming in with clarity, truth, quick, understanding it. And now being like, oh, damn, I'm not so sure about that. Like, I want to go a different route now. And in your likely future, you have the Eight of Cups with Temperance. And a lot of people look at the Eight of Cups like, oh, they're walking away. You know, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I guess, sure. People could walk away because this is all about reading the cards around it, not just taking it as one card. But the Eight of Cups, if you look at them in order, it's a gathering of cups and emotions. So they don't leave them forever. However, some of you might. These cups are like all spilt over in this pond, like screw them. Normally they're stacked in other decks. But, so some of you might literally be leaving this situation, whatever. But there is the possibility too of just putting it aside for a minute and being like, okay, this is what I've gathered up so far. I want something more. Something that is more emotionally filling to me. And that is the Eight of Cups is that person going to find that ninth cup that makes things more fulfilling to you. Like you need more. Spiritually, whatever you're going, searching for more. Which is funny because I was like, oh, there's the Eight of Cups and the Ten of Cups, whereas the Nine, and then it ended up coming in later, kind of in a cool little way, which I'll get to. But this is about going, whatever this situation that comes, or these energies, if you allow it to happen, them coming in to help balance you and heal you. To allow you to have one foot in the emotional side and one foot in the grounded side. Maybe even you walking away from being so patient, some of you. Because Temperance is also about patience. Divine timing. Maybe some of you are even giving up, knowing that, hey, if it's supposed to happen, it will. Why am I sitting here waiting? It's within divine timing. I might as well go do this, this, and this. But there's still an illusion here, because this person or situation can't be your sense of like happiness or emotional fulfillment of going on. Like, if this person is able to put you in this mind frame, like in such a being stuck kind of way, because you do have that card supporting that, there's more going on here that really has nothing to do with that other person. It's like a projection. But either way, if you allow this energy to go, because remember, this was your likely future, it does pay off for you. And what she's going towards is this full moon. Which, ironically enough, somewhere around this time, especially like I think in October, maybe beginning of November, you've got the Taurus full moon and the Scorpio new moon, if I'm not mistaken. So, I mean, there are so many energies here that are coming up that are already here and will last for a little minute, that are of Venus and Scorpio. Just full on. A balancing of the scales. mostly within yourself, but eventually becoming external too. Because the way that you see yourself is you have the Page of Wands and the Star card. So at this point, you're not like trying to dip your feet in the emotions. You're dumping your emotions out, maybe. Or you're just building up your little pond of emotions. Like, this is what I want. It's like, this is what I want, but I'm scared to play in it type of vibe. Like, coming in and being like, playing in it and then it burning you or hurting or being scared of it and pulling back. And then coming back in and then pulling back, being scared of it and pulling back. And you're now like just sitting there it's like, I get this vibe of, like I was going to say going on a new venture, journey. Yes, that too. But even more so, like, maybe even sitting back and trying to call somebody in. Or like, playing the fiddle. Or the tune or the... What was it like? I don't know. Wasn't there like a thing back in the day? Was it Three Blind Mice? Or I don't even know. Like some guy would play the flute and it would bring in mice. Or I don't know. I'm just getting this vibe of playing something to not only support your reality, but also, most importantly, also to bring something in. Something that you want and something that you desire and something that you want to have make sure it's not just your ego, which there is a lot in here about all that, but yet it scares you at the same time. Like I said, she's collecting stuff that she wants in this pond, but she's scared to dip her toes in it. It's like keeping it there, but far enough away where it can't hurt her. And then you have to ask yourself, why are you afraid of the pain? Why do you associate to pain? If it's painful, why do you want it? Is it that you can't handle it? Is it not the right time now? I mean, is it just your ego? Is it just your ego that wants it? Or do you really want it? And this is going to be different for different people, but do you want this? I'm guessing it's this person who left. Like, do you really want them? And can you handle the fire that they bring, if you want to call it that? Whatever comes along with them. Whether it's them or what will come in your life. Whatever. Or, because the Six of Wands is also about ego, which is where you're sitting in your central position. So, is this also coming back like an ego thing of, was your ego hurt when they left? I mean, obviously it was, but you have to ask yourself, is that the only reason that you're sitting there doing all this. Because if you're in this position and it's just on ego, that's even more ridiculous. No judgment. I have compassion, but it's really something to look at. And that's what I think a lot of this energy is going to show you. What do I really want? And why do I want it? Because it's like you're gathering. Venus is very much about an abundance, yes, harmony, but also Taurus is like, I have. They like to enjoy the things that they like. You know, Taurus and Scorpio are very about control. Scorpio even more so is about power and control. I think Tauruses are more about power, but by relinquishing it. So there's more of that either victim mentality, a lot of times it can be, or martyr, or gaining power or control by giving it away. They very much, like, this person is giving their power away. And I very much get this vibe just by looking at that, which I've never gotten with this card before, is just a sitting there waiting, like, see how she's playing the flute, and calling something in. Maybe even like making excuses to yourself or others in the meantime or whatever. I can't think of the word. There's a word for it. Like, there's a better word that it is associated to an instrument, but, you know, like Cry Me a River or something. I don't know, but that, along with mostly I keep seeing playing the flute and mice come in. I forgot what the name is. I don't know if it's Three Blind Mice or what it was, but calling something in that you really want. The star card is also very much about what you want, hopes, destiny, faith. I mean, you might really feel like this person and you are destined, or they're your soulmate, or... But either way, even if they are, you still have to look at your ego on that. And if part of you was wounded in that way, and if you have to heal that part, because even if this person did come in, if that's an issue, you're gonna hurt things. What's in your environment or how others are seeing you is Two of Swords, and then you have the World reversed, the Emperor reversed, and Five of Wands reversed. So, very much not being able to see, not seeing the end of a cycle, not having control, all of that. But I get this vibe like somebody's pulled away, somebody's pulled back, either from seeing or in action or whatever, because she's completely guarded and blocked off. She can't see. And the World is like, I just get this vibe of like not being out there, being like in, and, you know, just everything coming in like this. At least they're interacting with each other. They're not. It's reversed. The Emperor being present, controlled, like taking action, no action, like just all of them together is very... So this is either somebody around you, which could be this person who left, or it could be you pulling back. Or maybe they see as you're sitting here pulling back, calling somebody in, they see you as very pulled back and reserved. I mean, hopefully they're not seeing you as being manipulative, or you're not, or they're not manipulative. in your hopes and fears, you have the Justice card twice. And you have the Eight of Swords. And I get the vibe that obviously, like, I hear with it, like, it's not fair. And you feeling like it's not fair has kept you in this Eight of Swords. But if you look, it's really like, here's the moon. Like, the moon is, its influence is controlling you, which is like your emotions, your subconscious. That's why you really need, that's the benefit of this energy, is helping you see your subconscious. It's controlling you and keeping you in this Eight of Swords vibe, where pretty soon you're not just gonna be stuck there. They're gonna stab you. And then it almost looks like Three of Pentacles here. So that they're not working together with you, that they're not coming and cooperating in the way that you like. I get that. That's the vibe I get, because the Three of Pentacles is very about coming and working together. And you're just like, it's not fair. Like, why can't you just, like, maybe even like, I've done so much even of the work. Like, you don't even have to do much. You just have to, like, be there and cooperate and enjoy yourself, you know, kind of thing. It's not that hard. And it's just not working out. Like, you keep just having these thoughts in your own mind. It's like you're on one page and somebody's on another. And when you do that, you're gonna stay stuck. Because if you're trying to keep, like, in a Venus type energy, in an abundant, Venus is very much, especially in a Taurus energy, is very much about grounding into, like, 3D reality, material, like touch. Like, they want to be able to touch and play and control, not control, but like play with and interact with in a physical way with the things that they like and value. So yes, the idea of it is also something special, but it is the physical interaction normally that the Venus type of energy craves. And when you're sitting there in your mind and you're either just waiting or you're planning or strategizing or putting stuff together, and that physical, the physical just doesn't keep coming in. Why? Because the plans are on different pages. It can't come together and physically manifest in the way that you're thinking and trying to, because you're missing things. It doesn't seem fair because you're wrapped in your own desires and your own story and your own reality, and you are not taking into account theirs. Which is funny, it's ironic, because I'm pretty sure that that's exactly the way you feel about them. That they're not at all taking your feelings into consideration, your wants and your desires. I'm sure there's a little bit of both here. This is a dance. I mean, especially between this Venus and Scorpio and like Taurus or Libra and Scorpio energy, that's very much a dance. So I get it. But at the same time, are you trying to fit them into a story or a situation that they don't want to be in? Are you trying to write them into a book they never agreed to? Because if you are, it's going to keep you in this Eight of Swords energy. At that point, I mean, make a book out of it if you have to. Because if you're trying to write them into a storyline that they did not agree to, like this Three of Pentacles that's in the back of this card, you're going to keep getting stuck. You're going to keep mentally getting stuck because you'll keep writing a new draft, writing a new storyline, and then when you go to physically manifest it, it's going to be boop, wall. Because it's not the right story. Or they're not supposed to be in that story. If they are, not right now. Like, you're trying to still control this situation, whether it's literally because it's meant to be and you could feel it, or because of your ego. Like, you want it back. You want that completion back. This probably made you feel complete at one time. And it wasn't fair that it was taken away from you. It's actually a very narcissistic thought, if you think about it. I mean, they're not Build-A-Bears. They're people. So maybe they did some stuff in some messed up ways. I don't know. But is that really what you're caught on? I mean, I'm sure a little bit. Yeah, it hurt, but that's not really what you're caught on. What you're really caught on is that they're not cooperating with your storyline. I don't know. It might even be vice versa. You may not be cooperating with theirs. I don't know. But either way, there's an illusion here, and hopefully you've started to realize it in your recent past and putting an end to it, that all of this is whatever story you've made up. The only thing that's not the story you've made up is the physical manifestation. And that's why it stays stuck in your mind. And Taurus is watching this. This is very strong Taurus energy. This is what, I mean, Scorpios actually a lot of times get the Eight of Swords too. Taurus and Scorpios very much get Eight of Swords a lot in their readings, especially Tauruses. So this is one of the biggest reasons why you keep getting Eight of Swords energy, is because in your mind and your desires, like for very much manifestors, it's like, why can't I manifest this? Because you're not thinking properly on it. Like, this storyline is all in your head. It's all in your mind. It's all, you're looking at one thing and creating something else. This does not look like this. You're not seeing things properly. You might now, but you weren't. And it's like what you were seeing was not the truth. So if you're not lining things up, if things aren't in alignment, you know, you can't manifest that when things aren't in alignment. Manifestation happens with alignment. So in your mind, you keep writing these stories and, you know, are you looking at the realities of it all? Or are you at least setting your intention and then letting it go and letting the universe handle the rest? Or are you just sitting there and waiting and playing your flute, trying to call it in? Wanting to collect all your things, but not like play in it. It's like, I mean, you're really going to have to ask yourself, like, as I really keep getting this really strong vibe of, do you really want this? Do you really want to, like, play with this? And I don't mean in a narcissistic way. Like, do you really want this in your life and everything that comes along with it? Or do you want what it was? Like, I remember seeing this one thing Oprah had said one time, and I was like, wow, that's a really good saying or thought. And it was, I think, like, to her what forgiveness meant. And it was, letting go of the hope that the past didn't happen, or that the past could have happened differently. And when I really thought about that, when I was like, that's very true, you know, like, because if you really think about it, I mean, yeah, you could be like, no, I'm mad they did this, this, and this. Yeah, but that's not really what you hold on to. Because most of the time, if it was that strong to you, it was something that was pretty significant to you. And it's just a huge part of yourself or your ego, like, I don't know, just wishing it didn't happen. And that's not acceptance. Like, if you don't accept things, you'll stay stuck in the Eight of Swords energy. You just have to accept what happened. It did happen. There's no going back and changing it. It happened. And you can't be like, oh, well, I'll just make it like that in the future. No, it doesn't work like that. It's forever changed. So if you're like, no, I accept it in the past, but I'll just try to recreate that for the future, you're going to stay stuck in the Eight of Swords energy. Because that situation will never be again. It's forever changed. So therefore, there's no point in even worrying about it or trying to create it in any way, because it's either not going to, or it's going to come back in a way that you don't know of yet, because it hasn't happened. The only thing that you could try to create it is in the way your mind conceives and what you want. And chances are it's still going to be something in the past, and it's going to just keep blocking, because you're trying to just bring in something in a way that it's not supposed to be. So either it's not supposed to come, or it's not trying to come in the way that you're trying to control it to manifest it. It's about literally just acceptance. Accept that it did happen. And it will never be that again. And I'm sure if you really think about it, chances are you really wouldn't want it to. If you were being real with yourself, you really wouldn't want it to. Because you're not that same person. And they're not that same person. And it's not even them that you really want anyways. It's the way that you felt. So then you have to ask yourself, how did I feel? Like, stop asking yourself, how can I make this come to me? And ask yourself, what feeling did I have at that time that I'm trying to recreate? And how do I go about getting that? Because that you can control. You can't control another person or situation. You can control yourself for the most part. And your own abundance and fulfillment. That's what you're going after. And hopefully that's what this Venus and Scorpio energy teaches you, is what you want, what you really want. How do you go about getting it? Accepting all of the rest of this and going after now what you know that you want is going to bring you that emotional fulfillment. Because this is going to keep you stuck. You have to be willing to accept what was and be open to what's coming. But at least know the feeling you want. Because here's another thing. Let's get into manifestation logic. If you know the feeling that you're trying to embrace and pull in, what exactly is that emotion that you wanted? Like, who cares if it's their face? Really, at the end of the day, I mean, if that's what you're worried about, it really is ego. You really do need to worry about that. But if it's really that emotion, like ask yourself, if I could bring in somebody or something or situation and they made me feel exactly the way this person did or this situation did, would I accept that? Would I accept that and be willing to let this go? That's some stuff right there. Like, would you? Would you really? If you say yes, then you need to do some work and think about how they made you feel. And think about that and what you want and what will make you feel that way. And start to put together ways that's going to bring that in, but also start to meditate and focus on that feeling and grow it within you and around you, so that when you feel that feeling, it attracts to you. Like attracts like. This is like law of attraction stuff. Like attracts like. So if you're sitting and resonating in that feeling, that which you're wanting, that is what you will attract. But if you're stuck on it being this face or this face of a situation, then you know something about your ego you need to work on. I mean, yes, you're still going to get to what do you want. You're going to get to that end phase anyways, but you've got something before that that you need to work on. And that was something in your ego that you need to either let go of, work on, heal, or whatever. That's a wound that needs to be brought up, aired out, loved, and healed. Because if it's really like you just wanting that emotion, it wouldn't matter if it was this person or not. Like this particular person or situation. You would embrace any situation or thing that makes you feel like that. And you'd be like, no, I would if they would come. But if you're so focused in this one way, how will you know or see if it comes in a different face? If everything about you is telling yourself that it has to be this person or this situation or this whatever, how will you even know when it comes? You won't even see it. You won't even see it. The lesson will just keep repeating itself. Because that opportunity or blessing will come and pass you right by. Because you're not really looking. And you're not really being open. And you're being closed-minded, thinking that you know everything of what you need and want. And it's really just your ego controlling you. You're not getting it. How long have you been sitting in this Eight of Swords energy? Apparently it's not what you need and want. Maybe it will be in the future, who knows? But you have to release that. And until you pull yourself out of that Eight of Swords and Two of Swords energy, you're not going to see it even if it is this person. That's like that's real truth right there. You're not even going to see it if it's even if it's this person. Which you're probably going to repel their energy anyways, but you won't even see it. I mean, they could come with a different energy and you won't see it because you're still stuck on an old energy. Like, why? So anyways, stop being stuck on an old energy and try something new. This is about realizing that what's going on with you right now is in your making. It's your doing. You have technically created this Eight of Swords energy. It's up to you to, like, it's fully in your power to give it up. Like, how many of you have been saying it's because of them that you're in it? It's because of you that you're in it. This is your story that you've written. It's time to write a different story. It's time to see the truth for what it really is and what do you want to see, and be open to what that is. Let me get, well, I guess I'll go to these oracles real quick because they kind of coincide with what I'm saying right now. This is her, like she's clearing out. Could be harvesting, but this is like clearing out. Like she's looking at what she's grown, is like, nah, crap. This is no good. I thought these were sunflowers, you know, and they're little devil heads. That's not at all what I thought. And you're becoming aware of what seeds you've planted and what you've grown and what you thought you were growing, and you're just like, this is not what I thought I was growing, and you're cutting it down. You're starting over, and you're starting new, and you're burning it. Some people might be like, whoa, what's going on with her? What's up her butt? His butt, whatever. Like, all right, relax. And you're just like, you're just burning it down. Burn it down. Scorpio energy, burning it down. Yes, some people are going to be like, what the heck? And you're going back to the drawing board. It's the magician vibe, you know, he's daydreaming and all that, but it's dreaming, whatever. Going back to the drawing board. Because it's like, you've been going somewhere. This is your ego driving the boat to some fantasy land that you've built up. And this is you dragging your emotions along with you. Your emotions have been drug along through this whole process. Your ego is trying to get you somewhere, to go somewhere. Where? Right here. It's kind of like one of those vibes where as soon as you stop, it grows. Whether it is with this person or whether situation or whether it's something else that just has a different face. But you have to look within and combine, like, see, like the light and the dark. As of right now, they're controlling each other. Like, he's grabbing her by the hair, which I guess could be fun. But you know what I'm saying. It's more of a controlling vibe. Whereas here's the light and the dark, and they're like working with each other. Putting an end to the back and the forth and the pulling and confliction of it. And realizing that it's kind of was there all along. And once you kind of balance those sides within you and stop fighting your own demons, like lay them to rest, heal them, it's like it starts to grow. It's pretty much exactly like the cards say. You're literally not only creating this own energy within yourself and your own mind, but this stuck energy is not only within yourself, it is within this situation. This situation in particular, or this that you want of an emotion coming to you. Like I was saying, you're literally blocking it off yourself. And this shows this. I don't know exactly how this is going to happen. I don't know if it's just the energies that show you. I don't know if these energies create you and something with somebody else that creates this to be known. I don't know if it comes from a conversation. It could just be you seeing and realizing, because, you know, that it's shining light on the truth. But it is very much like, I feel like you and this person, I'm just going to say person, situation, whatever. It makes it easier. Person. It's like you guys came together really fast. It turned really hot, heavy, intense, and sexual. Which then turned to loving. It then turned to loving. But then turned to like power play. And not being fun anymore. I almost get the vibe like this King of Pentacles energy, that they had a lot of options, or they were pulled, or were pulled, probably both, pulled in different directions. And somebody got left out in the cold, obviously. Somebody didn't make the cut, I guess, if you want to look at it like that. That's the way I feel like this main energy is looking at it. Like, you didn't make the cut, and this left you like this. And you look at this person like this. Like, they're looking at you like this. This really affected a lot of you guys. Because they didn't choose you. Is the vibe I'm getting from all this. They didn't choose you. When they chose to look at their options and choose to decide which way they were going to go and manifest, it wasn't with you. I mean, and really, like I said, the only thing I can really get from this is like, your perspective got stuck. It was a hurting, self-sabotaging vibe perspective. I don't know. I mean, it's obviously a very codependent energy on both parts, just saying. So here's something I'm thinking. I'm just saying, like, once you get to the, hey, here I am, intense beginning, leading to the emotions part of it, you and the other side go from being same level together to feminine's above. to the next thing is masculine's above. Like, do you see this? I'm not saying that anybody who's in this position, the feminine's above, but you can clearly see where the feminine kind of has that more, it's a very loving stance. It's not power, but I get this power play going on here. And then it's turned to, he's in the more power play, coming up to this lady like damsel in distress, like, oh, so either you could have became very codependent or very nurturing and either overwhelmed this person to where they had to go and like pull back their sense of individuality and masculinity like somewhere else, or like you cared a lot for them and it was almost like in a codependent motherly way. When you have that codependent energy, you guys don't always come at each other in a balanced way. So you'll come like, you could be coming like, or that's literally just their perception, where it was like they felt that when this connection started to turn loving, they lost a sense of control and power. It made them very uncomfortable. And they chose options that made them feel more in control and more in power and more, I guess, masculine. Probably through sex, but it doesn't matter. Because you have the Hermit, like, but you have, and then you have the Emperor, so like, you know, here's this person having sex, this is probably the person left out, them trying to gain control but doing it while in the way of a child. So maybe you were young when this happened, or they're just very immature, they have a very low evolved way of getting power within themselves, and they decided to manifest by moving on. And I mean, that can really play a lot of tricks with someone's head too, or even their ego, that, you know, right as soon as it gets to that place and you open up that vulnerable side of you, the carpet is just ripped out from underneath you. So I can see where you guys get stuck. I could see it. But again, it's in your control to get yourself out of that, because the only way you actually got there in the first place, honestly, was giving your power away. And that's okay, no judgment, because it's like you didn't know. Just like this person didn't know. You know, they were kind of doing the best they could do at the time, too. That doesn't take away certain things that were done, but this feels to me like a very codependent energy, just with how fast it grew in the cycle of it. Anybody who looks at this cycle that's in front of me, it's a very codependent energy. It's not a sustainable energy. It's one that both were not, didn't have a level of knowledge yet, but also not a level of stability within themselves. Their stability was built on each other. And apparently, I'm going to assume the masculine, but, you know, he got to it sooner. I don't even think he realized it, but sooner, to where it was like, And it could just be that the love was overwhelming and it scared him and he felt like he was losing control. Or it could be, well, this isn't fun anymore. The rush is over. You know, you have the rush of getting, you have the rush of the intense sex, you have the rush of the falling in love. And then once that's done and you guys really see each other and the masks fall off, what are you left with, and are you willing to work through it? And that's probably a hard part now that I say that, because that probably really does hurt your ego, you know? Once you really put that part of yourself down and your mask falls and you show who you really are, which, let's face it, that's not who you really were, because you're still finding out who you are right now. So chances are they probably are too, but still, in your mind, with what you knew at that time, your mask came off. You started more and more to let your vulnerable side out and who you are. And that's, I don't know, you know, that can really suck, especially when you don't have a lot of your own securities intact of, when I show somebody who I really am, they find the door. And it's really not like that. That's a misperception, because for one, you can't control the way someone else thinks about things. Like, that's not really actually because of who you were. That was because of their own issues. Just like all this is because of your issues too. But it's also because, you know, women are more in the receptive mode. Men are more in the action-driven mode. So they're going to look for that action part. So, you know, if it became boring to them or whatever, like, whenever somebody, like this person, the way it seems, when they feel like they lost this control and they became subjected to like your love, they started feeling that vulnerability within themselves, they're going to need to increase their ego and their masculinity and all of that. And most of the time when people are in this mind frame, they do it through sex. And when you do it through just sex alone, it's a very, very shallow thing. Not judgment on it, but it is. You're looking for that lower evolved sexual 3D blah 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 blah, you know, whatever. Like, it's not based on depth. It's based on surface level things. And it seemed like, from the way of this, is as soon as it got deep, it shifted. Which on your mind, you're like, well, gee, you know, I show you that part of myself and boop, there you go. And they're looking at it like, oh, now we're going into this deep stuff. This isn't fun anymore. You know, it's a different in perception. Exactly, like the hangman. Perception. It's a difference in perception. And it was what it was. You might feel this spiritually, that something's going to come back. Maybe, who knows? I don't know. Maybe you're feeling the feeling of it. But either way, you're keeping yourself stuck with this no matter what this is. You're trying to place a label on something and it doesn't even matter. Because I don't care whether something's spiritual or not or whatever. Like, you got to look at the facts. And you got to look at what's being done. And you got to look at how someone is and how they're treating you and all that other stuff. And if you're not in their priorities, you got to rewrite the story. Because you need to be in your own priority, and also you need to be in your feminine power. No feminine is going to write a story with a masculine or a situation that is not making them a priority. And if you are, you need to look at why. And that's usually ego driven. That's wounds that need to come up and be healed. But let's see. Let's do this real quick. I'm gonna try to wrap this up real quick because A, it's long enough, and B, I got to go. How's this situation person seem? person does not see things the way you see things. Maybe that's what you start to see. You have the Death card here, so you have the Scorpio, the Knave of Swords. They're very much in a lower vibration, a control, a sexual type of self-pleasure, self-pain type thing. Like, you have to ask yourself if this is what you really want. And some do. I mean, there is a healthy level of pain. You just have to be real with yourself about it. Do you like the pain? Don't you like the pain? If you do like the pain, why do you? How does it serve you? What do you want on it? Does it make you anxious, or do you like it? If you do like pain, but you just don't like the type of pain that you're getting, change the type of pain. Be real with yourself. You might have sexual sides of yourself that are coming up that want to be explored. Maybe you're trying to use emotional pain to spur you forward in your life to do things. Maybe you could put that into, you know, sexual desires. Either way, you know, explore these sides of you that come up as they do. Don't keep them hidden. Don't become anxious about them. Explore them. Because you're going to have some shadow sides coming up. Maybe that's what this person, why you're so drawn to this person. Maybe they're supposed to pull up your shadow side and get you to love and embrace them. But you got to really work on your perspective about this, and don't let it be about your ego. Don't deceive yourself, because it's not about that. Your mind is... I get the run that I'm reading this for is more in like that Venus kind of loving, nurturing, abundant vibe. And this other one is in like the kind of more Scorpio, earthly, etheric, 3D ego vibe. It's a complete difference in perception. And really the answer is a blending of the two. Yours isn't right and the other one's isn't right. It's either you blend the two, or it doesn't work. But then it's like, is this person evolved too? Which I'm not sure if they are, because you're not either. Maybe as you do, they will. I don't really know, but you're too much being hurt and in your heart space, and they're too much about what are emotions and in their sensual desires. There's growth that needs to be had, and hopefully this is what gets you there, because in your likely outcome, you have the King of Wands, so you grow from the Page of Wands, and you have the Ten of Cups. You know, and I was like, well, what gets them from the Eight of Cups, because in your likely future you have the Eight of Cups and the Temperance, what gets them from the Eight of Cups to the Nine of Cups? And on your soul journey you have the Nine of Cups, and you might have decision too, because you have the Two of Spirals, and this is about one of these goes in one direction, which goes inward, and one goes in the other direction, which goes outward. So you're going to have to look at both of your worlds, your inner world and your outer world. But the main part of this is the Nine of Cups. So here's your Nine of Cups. This, what gets you from the Eight of Cups to the Ten of Cups, is the Nine of Cups. And this is about, you know, your wishes, your desires. It's also about this, like, taking you back to childhood memories. There's two little fairy genies in here, and it's asking you to look at, it's asking you to ground yourself and get in the right perspective before you ask for what you want, before you make these wishes. And it's also about, you know, bringing childhood memories and all of that, like remembering who you are, remembering where you came from. What are your desires, and what created your desires? It's about asking you to get in alignment with yourself in whatever way you have to do that. Meditation, yoga, like talking, writing, channeling, like journaling, whatever you have to do, getting in alignment with yourself and being real with yourself and really looking at what you want, where you came from, why you want those things, what they mean for you. Because this type of energy is helping us get on the same page and harmonize, so that as we move forward, especially into the beginning of the year, and those manifestation powers start to pick up, you will be in more in alignment, and you won't keep trying to manifest and hitting this wall and going like this. You will actually be able to bring that forth and end up with the 10 of Wands and the 10 of Cups. The King of Wands knows exactly what he wants. He knows exactly how to get it, and he manifests it. And here's your 10 of Cups. You get it. You get the emotion of it. I don't know if the face is the same, but this is an emotional cup. You get the emotions, the emotional satisfaction of it, and you also get the passion of it because you have the King of Wands. So you have emotion and passion. You have the mixing of Venus and Scorpio. I know it's a Libra or a Leo energy with that King of Wands, but it is of the heart. It is of passion. And it is of emotion and what we value. But you've got to get real with yourself first. That's what's missing in this jump going forward. And that's what this energy is teaching us to do. It's asking you to come back to reality. Look at things. Try new things. Come out of your comfort zone. Come out of your prison. Come out of your gates of whatever you've been left in. Go into the uncomfortable. Venus in Scorpio is asking Venus, that planet of comfort, to tread the waters of the uncomfortable in Scorpio. If you do, you get balance, you get passion, you get manifestation and creation, and you get emotional abundance. If you do that and allow these energies to work. But you have to do something different, like upstart, revolution. This is her doing something different. Because otherwise you're just going to stay in this cycle. You have to look at the things that have built your standards and what you're made about. You have to come out of your comfort zone. Mostly in love, but in different ways of value and beauty and just all the ways you think about things. Not only that, but these energies are literally almost, not quite, but almost opposition to Uranus and Taurus. This is a huge shakeup. These are big energies with Uranus and Taurus. Almost right across, you've got Venus and Scorpio, and then at some point, Venus is going to go retrograde in Scorpio, which means it's going to be a lot more internal self-reflective, especially for those Taurus and Libras, especially for Taurus because of all the other planet placements. And then somewhere in there, you got the Taurus full moon and the Scorpio new moon. I mean, these are just big energies. And they're going to push you. They're going to push you into your levels of uncomfortability to help you really see the truth and find out who you are and what you really want. Some way or another, it's happening. So, I think that's it. Let's see. Pull like one of the cards real quick of advice. This is about endings of cycles. What advice do you Yeah, the ending of the cycle. You got to end the cycle. Take back control. Align yourself. Rise above that Five of Pentacles energy. It's like the bottom of the deck here too. Like, you need to go back to creating balance. Like, give back. Look at things from a different perspective. How this gained you. Look at the reality of the situation. Like, instead of being in a lack mentality, it's asking you to be grateful. You just go in the gratitude for the lessons you learned. Stop thinking about what you lost and think about what you gained from this. And take those lessons and move forward and let the rest go. You have a bunch of King of Cups vibes here. You got a lot of Scorpio energy. This is really going to be strongest for especially Tauruses, but also Libras. But anybody, really. Like, really, really utilize this energy. Like, it's probably going to be rough for a minute, maybe not. But look at your perspective on this. Because this is going to change things for you. But only you can allow this to happen. To cause this new beginning. Once you decide to let the rest go. Let go of that mentality. Because this is all because of you. I feel like there's something I want to say, but I can't. Like I said, I just think you're looking at this all wrong. It was never about you, which I know sucks. That hurts in itself. Like, oh, it should have been. But that's the way they feel too. You know, they're in a way, a lot of ways, they're mirroring you. So, but it wasn't about you. It wasn't about you. But you being stuck is about you. So I'm going to stop here because, I don't know, I feel like there's something I need to say, but I don't know what to say. Just utilize these energies and what they show you and embrace the uncomfortability. When you get those feelings of uncomfortableness inside of you, instead of trying to resist them and push them down, sit with that feeling and embrace it and try to make it grow inside of you. And when you try to make it grow, it dissipates and you feel it and you learn it. But if you try to push it down, you're not going to get the lesson you're supposed to get, and you're going to stay in that Eight of Swords vibe. That Eight of Swords vibe is not them, that is you. And I know you know it's you, but what I'm saying is it's because of you. They actually have nothing to do with this. They left a long time ago. It's time for you to leave. I love you guys. I hope this helps you in some way. I don't know, I may do a Venus in retrograde one, I'm not sure, but I don't know if I'm going to need to. This might wrap up both of it. But I hope this helps. I love you guys. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Look at my other videos, your Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, any other significant placements in your chart, anything that resonates with you, whatever. But please like this video. Comment too on the videos I'm going for. I'm probably going to do Scorpio next just because of the energies, and I pulled a card and that's what I was guided to as far as the soul journey and the soulmate. So, but I go off who likes and comments too, but mostly likes the most. So like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, all that good stuff. I love you guys. I'll be seeing you soon. Work with the energy. But all right, I'm going. Bye. I love you guys. I'll see you soon.